Hello guys, how are you doing today? Welcome to my YouTube channel. So, in the last couple of weeks, I've been dishing out information on opportunities you can use to relocate abroad, essentially Poland and what have you. I talked about jobs you can use to come into Poland without visa sponsorship. Okay, now it's not just enough to know this information. Without understanding if you need to present the COVID tests on arrival or a vaccination certificate, or you need to wear your mask and so on. So it's so important. But then there's a good news. I came across a write-up, and this in this write-up, I saw that certain countries in Europe now have lifted up the travel restrictions. Okay, so that means that you can now go into these countries without COVID tests. Okay, or without proving that you're vaccinated or without even mask. Okay, so this is so interesting. If you want to find out about these countries, please don't go anywhere. Stay and watch this video to the end. Okay, all right, so I'm going to be sharing with you these countries now. I want you to pay attention and listen carefully. Okay, now traveling to Europe in May, there's an update in the COVID-19 vaccination recovery and testing rules of entry for every EU Schengen countries. Okay, all right, so before I unveil this, if you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I'm appealing to you to subscribe because there are so many opportunities. There are several opportunities already on the channel, and I'm going to release more. Believe me, there are so many opportunities now that I just saved the links in which I'm going to be making videos in the coming weeks. Okay, so ensure you're subscribed, and also ensure you hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out, so that whenever I drop them, you will watch them. And because if you don't watch them on time, you might miss the deadlines for these applications. Okay, so this is so important. And also smash the like button if you're enjoying my content, and it will kind of motivate me to make more videos for you and to show you more opportunities. All right, now with the summer holidays just around the corner, travelers from all over the world can start planning their trip to Europe, as the majority of the countries have already relaxed their COVID-19 entry rules. While some European Union, okay, only decided to ease some of their restrictions, others have lifted all of their COVID entry rules for all travelers. So some are just like, okay, you know what, you can enter, but you still need to provide this. But there are some countries now that they've lifted up everything. All those things that you need to spend money on. They've lifted up all these things, and now it's better now because previously, what it costs. It costs a lot. It costs a lot to even do a COVID test. It costs a lot. So now, the list of the countries, the EU countries that have dropped all their restrictions and now permit travel restriction-free entry to all travelers is as follows. So the first on the list is Bulgaria. Then we have Czech Republic, we have Denmark, we have Greece, we have Hungary, we have Iceland, we have Ireland, we have Latvia, we have Lithuania, Norway, Poland. By the way, I live in Poland. Okay, it's interesting. We have Romania, we have Slovenia, we have Sweden, and Switzerland. So all these countries that I've mentioned have lifted up all their travel restrictions due to the impact of COVID-19. So you don't need to present any COVID test or proof of vaccination before entering these countries any longer. And this has started from this month of May. Okay, it went into effect in this month of May, or it's going to go into effect in this month of May. Okay, so on the other hand, the other countries still continue to require travelers to meet entry rules. Before planning your escape, or before planning to relocate or to travel to Europe this summer, make sure to check the entry rules that each country currently applies. Okay, now one of the countries that have not lifted up all their COVID travel restriction is Austria. I remember last summer I was in Austria, and even though I did COVID test, I did COVID test here. I had the COVID certificate before entering Austria. When I went into Austria and I wanted to book in a hotel, the person I met there wanted to book a hotel for me. They said no, I have to provide a proof of COVID test. Again, I have to do another test over there in Vienna. So the man had to take me to the lab or hospital to do another test. Okay, so okay, let me show you. Let's read. So Austria continues to keep in place its entry rules for all incoming travelers. The Austrian official travel portal explains that currently all persons are required to present one of the certificates. So I want you to pay keen attention, okay? If you're planning to travel to Austria, pay attention. So you need to present one of these certificates. One, a vaccination, or a recovery, or test certificate upon their arrival. So you either present to them that a proof of vaccination, or like a test result that you're free from COVID. Okay. Now, travelers who present one of these three passes are permitted restriction-free entry to Austria, meaning that they do not need to undergo any other additional entry rules. Okay. However, it has been highlighted that everyone must make sure to meet the validity period that currently applies to vaccination and recovery certificate, as well as the negative test result. Now, I think if I remember, at that time I was told that the COVID test, the duration it lasts for about 72 hours. Okay, so after 72 hours, I can't be able to use it anymore. 72 hours is like, I think, 3 days. So after 3 days, you won't be able to use it anymore. That means it is invalid. So yeah, that's interesting. So the Austrian authorities explained that the countries accept only vaccination certificate that prove that the holder has completed vaccination in the last 270 days or has received an additional vaccine dose. So wow, interesting. So the holder needs to have completed their vaccination in the last 270 days. So that means if it is more than 270 days that you were vaccinated without taking an additional dose, that means you can't go in. You either do a test, COVID test, to prove that you're COVID free, or you have to take additional dose of vaccine. Do you understand? Yeah. So that's the thing. Now, on the other hand, the recovery passes have a shorter validity. Austria currently recognizes only recovery certificate indicating that the holder has tested positive for the virus for the last time within the previous 180 days. Now, as for the negative COVID-19 test, Austria accepts both PCR and rapid antigen tests. The PCR test must be taken within 72 hours before arrival in Austria, and the rapid antigen test must be taken within 72 hours before arrival. I think the one I took that time was, I think it was antigen test. Yeah, if I remember, I think it was the one that they put something on your nose. Wow, it was so painful. It was really painful. Okay. All right. And even though Austria will still continue to keep in place entry rules for incoming travelers, the country has already dropped the majority of its domestic COVID-19 rules. During your stay, you no longer need to prove your 3G status, the official travel portal of the Austrian state. This means while in Austria, travelers are not required to present COVID-19 proof when accessing different public places and events. Everyone is permitted restriction-free entry to bars, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I remember that time when I went to Austria last summer. So the person I was with told me that without COVID-19 test or I think proof of vaccination, you can't even go into the restaurants. Wow. And Belgium is also one of the countries, I think similar to Austria, you still need to prove something when entering Belgium. So let me quickly read out their rule. So Belgium also still requires travelers to present COVID-19 proof upon their arrival. Early in February, the Belgian authority revealed that the country would no longer apply entry rules based on travelers' country of origin. Instead, they announced that rules now apply based on travelers' vaccination status. Okay, travelers who have completed vaccination as well as those who have recovered from the COVID-19 disease can enter Belgium without having to follow additional entry rules as long as they hold valid certificates. When traveling to Belgium, vaccination certificates are accepted provided that they have been issued in the last 6 months. So being vaccinated is not even a guarantee that you're going to enter there and enter Belgium. So you need to have been vaccinated in the last 6 months, okay? Whereas recovery certificates are accepted if they have been issued in the last 6 months as well. So moreover, vaccination certificates that indicate that the holder has received a booster shot are also accepted, okay? While vaccinated and recovered persons can enter Belgium under facilitated rules. The authority has explained that those who have not been vaccinated or recovered from the virus need to follow slightly stricter rules. Wow. Okay. Persons who have not been vaccinated or recovered from the virus must take a pre-arrival COVID-19 test before entering Belgium. Unvaccinated or unrecovered travelers can provide either a rapid antigen or PCR test. The rapid antigen test must be taken within 24 hours before arrival in Belgium, and the PCR test must be taken within 72 hours before arrival in Belgium. Despite keeping some of its entry rules in place, Belgium has already lifted the passenger locator form requirement. Travelers can now enter Belgium without being required to complete the PLF. Okay, and also Belgium has dropped the majority of national restrictions too. Now, Bulgaria, it was one of the countries I listed here. So I'm not going to read out all those ones because I've already listed them here as the countries whereby you can enter without any restriction. So you don't need to present any COVID test or proof of vaccination before entering any of these countries, apart from Austria and Belgium. So let me check another one. I think okay, Cyprus, Denmark, Estonia. Okay, let me check France. Okay, France currently permits restriction-free entry to all persons who hold valid vaccination or recovery certificate. In addition, entry to France is also permitted for unvaccinated and unrecovered persons, but different rules apply depending on the country a person is traveling from. Okay, France currently categorizes all world countries into two different lists. So they categorize the world countries into two. The first group are the green list, and the other group are the orange list. Travelers who have not been vaccinated or recovered from the virus and who reach France from a green listed country are permitted entry to all kinds of for all kinds of purposes as long as they present a negative COVID-19 test taken recently. The French Ministry of Interior explains that unvaccinated and unrecovered travelers from orange listed countries can also enter France. However, they need to follow slightly stricter rules apart from having to present a negative test result. They must also present a sworn statement attesting to the absence of COVID-19 symptoms and contact with an infected person. I hope that is understood. Now, Germany, let me look at Germany. Despite easing some of its rules, Germany still requires travelers to present COVID-19 proof upon their arrival. The German Federal Ministry of Interior explains that currently all persons, regardless of their country of origin, must present a valid vaccination, recovery, or test certificate. The requirement to present one of the passes when reaching Germany applies to all persons over the age of 12. Those who are unable to present one of the passes need to follow additional rules. Every person over 12 is obliged to carry proof of their COVID-19 status when entering Germany, the ministry states. Germany was expected to relax its entry rules by the end of April. However, the authority has announced that the current rules that apply to incoming travelers will remain in place until the end of May. Okay, Greece, Hungary, are they among these countries here? Check them here. Yeah, okay. So for every of those countries, they still have their own particular even though they've relaxed so many of their or all their restriction, but they are still they're still bringing up some things, yeah. So that's actually the main thing. That's actually the main thing I wanted to know, that a couple of these countries have relaxed their COVID-19 measures. I'm going to be dropping this link in the description below. So if you have time, take a look at it. And if you're traveling to any of those countries, make sure you read it carefully to abide by the rules, so that you don't get into that place and you're stranded or you're stuck or you're denied entry. Okay, this is very important. Okay, so that's it about today. If you have any question, put in the comment section below and I'll be happy to attend to you. Okay, and if you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, kindly subscribe. Okay, and smash the like in this video if you consider it helpful. All right, okay, so thank you so much for watching. Till I come your way again, have a nice time. See you in my next video.